For horror fans, Fatal Frame 2 is one of those games that barely needs an introduction. But for a new generation of players, this remake was their first trip into All God's Village. And beneath its ghost stories and camera combat is one of the most tragic stories in survival horror. So tonight, we're diving into the full story behind the Crimson Sacrifice ritual, the fall of the village, and the nightmare binding Mio and Mayu together. The story begins with twin sisters Mio and Mayu Amakura returning to a forest from their childhood. Near a small creek, they reminisce about the past and about the accident that permanently injured Mayu's leg. As the sisters talk, one of them quietly says,
"All of this will be gone soon."
a line that initially sounds nostalgic but carries a much darker meaning later. Suddenly, Mayu notices a crimson butterfly drifting deeper into the woods. Almost entranced, she begins following it into the forest. Mio chases after her sister, but something feels wrong almost immediately. As she tries to catch up, Mayu briefly appears to transform into a woman dressed in white. Mio also experiences flashes of horrifying visions, including the image of a girl being strangled to death. Then, without warning, it becomes night. Mio suddenly finds herself alone on a forest path. At the end stands an old torii gate, and just outside of it is a crying woman in a white kimono apologizing over and over again. The moment Mio passes through the gate, the woman disappears. Beyond it lies an abandoned settlement hidden deep within the mountains.
The lost village.
Reuniting with Mayu, the sisters recall an old local legend. Supposedly, an entire village vanished during a ritual long ago, and people who lose their way in the forest are sometimes lured there. Searching for shelter, the twins enter an abandoned house near the village entrance. Inside, Mio discovers a newspaper clipping discussing a missing construction worker from the nearby Minakami Dam project, a dam that will eventually flood this entire region underwater. Suddenly, that earlier line makes sense. All of this will be gone soon. Wasn't just sentimental. This entire place is doomed to disappear forever. Inside the house, Mayu begins acting strangely again. Unlike Mio, she appears unusually sensitive to the supernatural. As the twins hold hands, Mayu is suddenly pulled into a vision, dragging Mio in with her. Within it, they witness fragments of a horrifying memory, including a woman in a white kimono laughing hysterically. While exploring further, the twins discover the camera obscura, a mysterious antique camera capable of revealing the unseen and exorcising spirits. Nearby are journals belonging to a woman named Miyako Sudo, who came searching for her missing boyfriend after he vanished near the village. But after reading the final diary upstairs, Miyako's spirit attacks. Using the camera obscura for the first time, Mio manages to drive the ghost back. After the encounter, Mio loses consciousness and experiences another vision. She sees Miyako trapped inside the village, just like they are, before being strangled to death by the spirit of her own boyfriend, another victim claimed by the village long before her arrival. When Mio wakes up, Mayu is gone. In her place, Mio finds the Spirit Stone radio, a device capable of replaying emotions and memories sealed within sacred crystals. Leaving the room, Mio catches sight of Mayu wandering deeper into the village alone. softly apologizing and saying she has somewhere she needs to go.
Sorry. I have to go.
Leaving Osaka House behind, Mio encounters the ghost of a previous camera obscura user. After the encounter, the camera gains a new ability, allowing Mio to see traces left behind by missing people. Following Mayu's spirit trail deeper into the village, Mio eventually reaches a locked gate. Beyond it, she can see Mayu being lured away by the ghost of a woman. But before Mio can reach her, the gate slams shut. A crimson butterfly suddenly appears and guides Mio elsewhere, leading her to a storehouse where a strange white-haired boy has been imprisoned. The boy mistakes Mio for someone named Yae. Confused, he asks why she's still here, warning her that the ritual is about to begin. He explains that the gate ahead only becomes locked once both twins have been gathered. Whatever this ritual is, it clearly involves twins. The boy urges Mio to follow the crimson butterflies if she wants to survive. To open the gate, Mio searches the village for two missing keys. One lies hidden inside a kimono box within an abandoned home, but the moment Mio reaches out for it, the ghost of a woman bursts violently from the box and attacks. The second key rests inside a small Shinto shrine hidden deeper in the village. Once both keys are collected, Mio unlocks the gate leading towards a bridge known as the Whispering Bridge. Nearby, a harmless spirit cowers in fear, muttering something about the repentance. Across the bridge stands a massive traditional mansion known as Kurosawa House, and waiting silently at its entrance is the woman in the white kimono. Inside, Mio briefly catches sight of Mayu wandering deeper into the manor. Then the door slams shut. Her flashlight dies, and the halls begin filling with the ghosts of villagers. As Mio explores the pitch-black mansion, she encounters another terrified spirit hiding behind curtains. The ghost repeatedly whispers about something called the Kusabi. Throughout the manor, Mio uncovers notes left behind by a folklorist named Seijiro Makabe, who entered the village years earlier to investigate its rituals. According to his research, the Crimson Sacrifice ritual was performed to purify the land and maintain a seal over something beneath the village. Something the locals believed was the entrance to hell itself. The ritual centered around twin shrine maidens who were sacrificed during ceremonies. Villagers believed the twins would become crimson butterflies after death and continue protecting the village as guardian spirits. Meanwhile, Mayu continues wandering deeper into the mansion in a trance-like state, quietly murmuring that she needs to return for the ritual. At one point, Mio experiences another horrific vision. The room around her transforms into a massacre. Bodies litter the floor while the woman in the blood-soaked white kimono laughs uncontrollably. Marks from a hanging rope scar her neck. Then something appears behind her. A gigantic spear wrapped entirely in ropes. The Kusabi. Unlike the other ghosts, this entity is far too powerful for the camera obscura. Mio can only run. Barely escaping the creature, she later discovers another camera lens left behind by Seijiro Makabe himself. His journals reveal even more about the village. The head of the Kurosawa family acted as both chief priest and village leader, overseeing the ceremonies personally. Mio then witnesses a vision from the past. Makabe and his assistant, Ryoso Munakata, arriving in the village years earlier. They're greeted by members of the Kurosawa family, including twin shrine maidens named Yae and Sae. During the vision, Ryoso shares a brief flirtatious moment with one of the twins, but the memory suddenly turns violent. Images flash rapidly across the screen. A man bound in ropes, blood, and Makabe's mutilated face. Further notes explain that the village performed two separate rituals. The first was the main ritual, a ceremony routinely conducted to keep the abyss sealed. The second was the shadow ritual, a far more horrifying emergency ritual performed only if the main ritual failed. If both ceremonies failed, the seal would break completely, and a catastrophe known only as the repentance would begin. Makabe's notes also mention that Ryoso became worried after discovering two childhood friends from the village, twin brothers named Itsuki and Mitsuki, had mysteriously vanished. Eventually, Mio finally finds Mayu locked inside a small room. Behind a folded screen, Mayu quietly speaks to herself about promises to run away together, and how everyone died. But when Mio moves around the screen, Mayu suddenly collapses unconscious. After waking up, she claims someone has been calling out to her, begging her to return, and to perform the ritual once again.
The ritual again.
The ritual?
Stay with me. Forever and ever.
Of course, we promised.
Now reunited, the twins discover a diary belonging to Yae and Sae, the twin shrine maidens from Kurosawa House. The journal reveals that the sisters suspected Makabe would be transformed into a kusabi. At the time, Yae and Sae had not yet been cleansed and prepared for the main ritual, and they wanted to help the folklorists escape before it was too late. Further notes confirm that the twins attempted to smuggle Makabe out of the village because they feared the shadow ritual would be forced upon him. But Makabe refused to leave, obsessed with uncovering the truth. He wanted to see the abyss with his own eyes. As Mio and Mayu attempt to escape the mansion, Mayu once again becomes possessed by the spirit of the blood-covered woman. The front entrance is sealed shut, forcing the sisters deeper into the manor in search of another exit. There, Mio uncovers notes written by Ryokan Kurosawa, the head priest of the village and the father of Yae and Sae. The journals reveal a tragic truth. After giving birth to the twins, their mother became overwhelmed with despair, knowing the fate that awaited her daughters, and eventually took her own life. The sisters were then raised in luxury and treated as sacred figures, not out of love, but because they were destined to die. The elder twin must personally strangle the younger twin to death before the body is cast into the abyss below the village. As Mio continues exploring, more butterfly diaries reveal growing unrest among the twins. Itsuki had begun questioning the rituals entirely, and Yae slowly started agreeing with them. Mitsuki, Itsuki's twin brother, was already dead, and Makabe was likely next. Sae, however, had become emotionally unstable. She no longer cared about escaping. As long as she could remain with her sister forever, nothing else mattered. Eventually, Mio reaches the Hall of Ropes, where one of the missing keys rests upon a ritual altar. Nearby journals reveal that Yae eventually attempted to flee the village, abandoning Sae behind. Desperate to prevent disaster, Ryokan planned to force the ritual forward using only one remaining maiden. Other notes describe the seal weakening rapidly. Villagers were dying from famine. The failed ritual involving Itsuki and Mitsuki had destabilized the abyss, and with no other options remaining, Ryokan prepared his own daughters to be sacrificed. Using the keys, Mio unlocks the prison cell where Makabe was once held captive. Inside is a massive archive where the folklorist continued documenting the village's history while imprisoned. His final research reveals the horrifying origin of the ritual. The abyss beneath the village has existed since ancient times. Local belief held that twins were originally one soul split into two bodies before birth. By reuniting those souls through murder, the surviving twin would achieve divine power strong enough to reinforce the seal. That belief became the foundation of the Crimson Sacrifice ritual. The elder twin kills the younger, and the sacrificed twin is thrown into the abyss below. As the truth sinks in, Mayu suddenly becomes trapped inside the prison cell. Once again, the sisters are separated. But before Mio leaves to search for the key, Mayu quietly forces her sister to remember the accident from their childhood, the moment Mio chose to let go of her hand.
Don't let go of my hand.
Hurry up! If you don't, I'll leave it behind. Wait, Mio! Come on, Mayu! Hurry! Wait! Mio, please! Don't leave me! Mayu? Mayu? No. Mayu. I'm sorry.
Leaving Mayu behind once again, Mio returns to Osaka House after discovering notes describing a hidden altar that conceals a passage leading underground. On the way there, Mio encounters the spirit of Saya near the storehouse where the boy Itsuki had been imprisoned. Through fragmented visions and ghostly dialogue, Mio learns that after Yaya and Saya attempted to escape the village together, something terrible happened to Itsuki, the boy who tried to help them flee. Consumed with regret, Saya desperately begs for Yaya to come back. Further exploration reveals the true purpose of Osaka House. Although it functions as an inn for travelers entering the village, it secretly existed to monitor outsiders who wandered too close to the rituals. Hidden beneath the building, Mio discovers an underground passage leading into a cavern system below the village. There, she finds the key needed to unlock Mayu's prison cell, but retrieving it awakens the Murmurs, blind-like spirits tasked with assisting the rituals. According to the notes scattered throughout the caves, these villagers intentionally blinded themselves so they would never accidentally gaze into the abyss below. Key in hand, Mio finally returns to free her sister, but once again, Mayu is gone. All she leaves behind is a note claiming she needs to apologize to Itsuki and Shitose. Soon after, Mio witnesses another memory from the past. Yaya and Saya fleeing through the forest together, but during their escape, Saya falls and injures herself, mirroring Mayu's childhood accident almost perfectly. Terrified, Yaya leaves her sister behind. And in that moment, Mio realizes the horrifying truth. The events happening now are repeating the tragedy of the past almost exactly.
Don't leave me behind! Hurry, Sai!
We still can't find her. The festival is about to begin. We need to catch her quickly.
Yai will come back for me. I know she will.
Following Mayu's trail once more, Mio heads toward Kiryu House in hopes of reaching the neighboring Tachibana house. The two massive estates are connected by an elevated bridge stretching over the forest below. Inside Kiryu House, Mio uncovers more details surrounding the Crimson Ritual. The surviving twin in the ceremony is known as the Remaining, but surviving the ritual is considered a fate worse than death. According to village records, the Remaining becomes consumed by unbearable grief after murdering their sibling. Many eventually lose their sanity, and some even experience their hair turning completely white from psychological trauma. The Kiryu family once suffered this exact fate. Twin sisters named Akane and Asami underwent the ritual years earlier. Akane survived as the Remaining but fell into severe despair afterwards. In an attempt to comfort his daughter, the head of the Kiryu family commissioned a life-size doll modeled after Asami. At first, the doll appeared to ease Akane's suffering, but eventually a spirit possessed it. Akane became obsessed with the doll's presence, descending further into madness before ultimately murdering her own father. With that, the Kiryu family line came to an end. Eventually, Mio discovers that the bridge Mayu crossed into Tachibana House has been locked behind her. However, another path exists, a hidden underground tunnel connecting the two mansions. While traveling through the tunnel, Mio is suddenly ambushed by the blood-soaked woman in white. During the attack, Mio loses hold of the camera obscura, and for the first time since entering the village, she is completely defenseless.
Are you leaving me again?
Now trapped inside Tachibana House without the camera obscura, Mio can do nothing except run. The spirit relentlessly stalks her through the mansion's narrow hallways and darkened rooms. At times, the ghost laughs hysterically. At others, she softly asks, "Are you leaving me again?" She even imitates Mayu's voice. The deeper Mio ventures into the mansion, the clearer it becomes. This ghost isn't simply attacking her. She believes Mio is Yae, and she's reliving the moment her sister abandoned her. Eventually, Mio manages to evade the spirit long enough to return to the tunnel and recover the camera obscura. Only then does the pursuit finally stop. With the immediate danger gone, Mio resumes exploring Tachibana House and uncovers the truth about the failed ritual involving Itsuki and Mitsuki. The twin brothers had already performed the Crimson Sacrifice ritual before Yae and Sai, but for reasons never fully explained, the ceremony failed. The Abyss remained unsatisfied, and from that point onward, the village's fate was sealed. At long last, Mio reunites with Mayu. The sisters decide they can no longer remain trapped in the village and begin searching for a way to escape. The only option is an old tunnel beneath the village shrine. Documents revealed the tunnel was sealed long ago after a pair of twins supposedly died attempting to flee through it. Although rumors suggest the twins may have actually been murdered while escaping. Still, the tunnel can supposedly be reopened using a ritual tied to the village's sacred old tree. Before heading there, Mio and Mayu decide to visit Itsuki one final time. When Mio unlocks his prison door, she is suddenly pulled into another vision. She witnesses Sai discovering Itsuki's corpse hanging inside the cell. After helping Yae attempt to escape, Itsuki had been imprisoned by the villagers. Unable to endure the guilt and hopelessness, he took his own life. The vision devastates Sai and further shatters what remained of her sanity. Later, While approaching the old tree, the Kusabi suddenly appears and begins pursuing the twins. Barely escaping, Mio and Mayu flee inside the hollow tree itself. But shortly afterward, Mayu collapses unconscious yet again. To reopen the escape tunnel, Mio must gather several family crests scattered throughout the village. After collecting and placing the crest within the tree, a hidden doorway inside the shrine finally opens to a tunnel beneath the building. The escape tunnel is now accessible. But just as freedom finally seems possible, Mayu is abducted by the spirits of the villagers, dragged away before Mio can save her. Forced into one final descent, Mio battles through hordes of hostile spirits and returns to Kurosawa House. Crossing the bridge leading towards the mansion, she witnesses a vision of Sai being escorted inside by ritual priests, a funeral procession marching towards inevitable death.
The two chosen ones mirror the twin wings of a butterfly. A butterfly that will save this village. This is how it was meant to be.
Deep within the mansion, Mio returns to the Hall of Ropes. There, she uncovers the full truth behind the shadow ritual. After the main ritual failed, the village elders captured Seijiro Makabe and subjected him to horrific torture in order to transform him into a Kusabi, a living sacrifice bound in ropes and offered directly to the abyss itself. The more torture the subject could endure, the better the sacrifice he would be. After defeating the remaining spirits within the manor, Mio descends into the hidden caverns beneath Kurosawa House. The path eventually leads to the abyss, a massive pit beneath the village filled with darkness and corpses. Here, Mio finally witnesses the truth behind the Day of the Repentance. After Yae escaped the village, the elders attempted to force the Crimson Sacrifice ritual using Sai alone. But the ritual was never designed to function that way. One twin had to willingly kill the other. Without Yae present, the ceremony failed completely. Sai was hung and cast into the abyss alone.
Forever. I'll wait forever.
However, she didn't come back alone. Her spirit returned corrupted, twisted by rage, abandonment, and despair. At the same time, Makabe, now transformed into a Kusabi, also emerged from the abyss. Together, the two unleashed death upon the entire village. Villagers were slaughtered where they stood. The darkness spread across Old God's village. And amidst the massacre, Sai laughed, promising she would wait forever for her sister to come back. Fatal Frame 2 has multiple endings depending on the choices made throughout the game. and each one reinforces a different theme at the heart of the story: grief, dependency, guilt, and the terrifying bond between twins. We'll start with the ending most fans consider canon, the Crimson Butterfly ending. After witnessing the truth of the repentance, Mio defeats the Kusabi and descends deeper into the abyss where Mayu awaits. There, Mio finally performs the Crimson Sacrifice ritual, just as Yai was meant to do with Sai long ago.
Mia. We were born together. But in the end, we live and die separately. I knew that. I knew that. Mayu. We'll be together forever. We can't be together forever.
Mio strangles her own sister. Mayu dies in Mio's arms and her spirit transforms into a crimson butterfly. The ritual finally succeeds.
So, it's okay. Kill me. Why wouldn't you kill me back then? I've been waiting for your hands to wrap around my neck ever since we were kids. Waiting, 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 waiting. Crimson butterfly. Thank you.
A massive swarm of crimson butterflies erupts from the abyss, cleansing the corruption surrounding Minakami village and releasing the trapped souls of the dead. The curse is broken. For the first time in decades, the village is silent. Mio leaves the village alone, finally free, but at the cost of the person she loved most. It is a devastating ending because the village ultimately gets exactly what it wants: another pair of twins consumed by the ritual. The Lonely Road ending. This is essentially the game's bad ending. After Mayu is taken away, Mio chooses not to pursue her and instead attempts to flee the village alone.
I'm sorry. I can't keep our promise.
As she escapes, Mio hears Sai's voice calling out behind her. Are you leaving me again? Itsuki's spirit warns her not to turn around, not to look back. But then Mio hears Mayu's voice. Unable to resist, she turns. And suddenly, she awakens back at the creek from the beginning of the game. Mayu is gone. Mio calls out for her sister while wandering the forest alone, just like Yai. The horror of this ending is that Mio repeats the exact same mistake Yae made, abandoning her twin, and now she has to live with that. The Abyss ending. In this ending, Mayu becomes fully possessed by Sai after the battle with the Kusabi. Mio is forced to fight her own sister.
I've been waiting in this dark, dark place. Shall we begin?
After defeating Mayu, Sai's spirit is finally exorcised and falls into the abyss below. Mio catches Mayu before she falls as well.
Mayu! Mio!
Don't look down there.
But while looking into the abyss, Mio witnesses something so horrifying that she permanently loses her eyesight.
I can't remember how we were able to leave the village. We were found in the woods, unconscious.
The two sisters survive and escape the village together, but there's something deeply unsettling about the final scene.
Mio, let's go home. Okay.
Mayu seems happy, almost relieved, because now Mio will forever depend on her, just as Mayu always depended on Mio after injuring her leg as children. It completely reframes Mayu's behavior throughout the game and hints at something darker beneath her vulnerability, a fear of ever being separated from her sister again, no matter the cost. The Promise ending. This ending reveals one of the most important implications in the entire story. After defeating the Kusabi, the spirit of Yae separates from Mio's body. The implication is that Yae's spirit was the crying woman standing outside the Torii gate at the very beginning of the game, and when Mio entered the village, Yae attached herself to her.
Sai. I knew you'd come. I'm so sorry. I promised you we'd always be together. Forever. I know. I understand. Together forever. I promise. Now we can finally go.
At last reunited, Yae and Sai embrace one another before willingly descending into the abyss together to complete the ritual they failed to finish decades earlier. This time, the sacrifice succeeds, but Mio and Mayu survive.
Mayu. Mayu. I'm so glad I made it.
As the twins escape, crimson butterflies float out from the abyss and the trapped souls of Minakami Village are finally set free. Of all the endings, this one feels the most bittersweet. The original twins finally fulfill their duty, allowing Mio and Mayu to escape the same fate. There's one detail in the promise ending that raises a huge question once you connect Fatal Frame 2 to the first game. If Yae escaped the village, how is her spirit back in Minakami? Because according to the wider lore of the series, Yae survived the repentance and eventually married Ryoso Munakata, the folklorist assistant who entered the village alongside Seijiro Makabe. The two later had descendants connected to the Himuro mansion from the first Fatal Frame game, meaning Yae didn't die in Minakami village. She escaped, lived an entire life, and eventually died somewhere else entirely. So why does her spirit appear at the Torii Gate at the beginning of the game? And how does she emerge from Mio's body during the promise ending? The game never gives a direct answer, but there's a theory that explains almost everything. Yae never truly escaped emotionally. Even after leaving the village behind, part of her spirit remained trapped there with Sai. Think about it. Yae abandoned her twin sister during the escape, then later learned the entire village was wiped out in the repentance. That kind of guilt is exactly the type of emotion that creates ghosts in Fatal Frame. So even though Yae physically survived and went on to live a normal life, a fragment of her soul may have remained spiritually bound to Minakami village the moment she abandoned Sai. That would explain why the crying woman at the Torii Gate says "I'm sorry," not to Mio, but to Sai. The Sprouting Wings ending. In this ending, Mio fails to catch Mayu before she falls into the abyss. The two sisters plunge into the darkness together.
Dissolving. I'm dissolving and falling. Deeper and deeper.
Where are you?
We were one. I wanted to stay like that. Forever. Mio keeps moving forward. Slipping away. We can never return to being one. That's why I fell. A world without Mio has no meaning.
As they fall, Mayu finally reveals her true feelings. She admits she never wanted to live in a world where she and Miu could be separated. To Mayu, being together mattered more than surviving.
If you want to go back, if being with me means something to you, then we'll live!
Then, as the twins descend into the abyss, the spirits of Yae and Sai reunite. The two ghostly sisters carry Mio and Mayu's bodies back towards the altar above.
Crimson butterfly.
As the curse over the village is finally broken, we see the spirits of other twins throughout the game reunited as well. Akane and Asami, Itsuki and Mitsuki, finally together again.
It's almost time.
It's one of the most tragic endings in the game, but also strangely peaceful. Rather than resisting the bond between them, Miu and Mayu surrender to it completely. The twins are then shown back in the forest, sitting and talking by the creek.
It was beautiful. Yeah. It was so beautiful. Hey, Mio. Never mind.
The remaining sun ending. This ending is almost identical to the Sprouting Winds ending. However, after the credits roll, an additional scene plays. Mio and Mayu are shown sitting peacefully together beside a lake. The implication is that this lake was formed after the Minakami Dam project flooded the original village beneath the water. It's the same lake that we see in the ending where Mio ends up blind. Unlike Sprouting Wings, this scene strongly suggests the twins truly survived and eventually escaped the village together. Without it, the previous ending almost feels ambiguous, as though the sisters may have died while completing the ritual. The remaining sun ending gives a sense of final closure. After everything they endured, the twins are finally free, and for once, together, outside the shadow of the village. And that was the story of Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. A story about grief, about guilt, and about the terrifying idea that love can become so obsessive that it traps people long after death. What makes Fatal Frame 2 so memorable isn't just the ghosts or the rituals, it's the tragedy behind them. Nearly every spirit in Minakami Village is the result of someone desperately trying to hold on to another person. Saya couldn't let go of Yae, Mayu couldn't bear the thought of living without Mio, and the village itself became trapped in an endless cycle of sacrificing because of that fear of separation. Even the crimson butterflies, something beautiful, are tied to death. And I think that's why this game still stands out as one of the greatest psychological horror games ever made. Not because it relies on cheap scares, but because beneath all the ghosts and rituals is something painfully human. The fear of being left behind.
Don't let go of my hand.
If you enjoyed this video, let me know which ending you think fits the story best. Personally, I think the Promise ending feels the most emotionally complete, but the Crimson Butterfly ending is definitely the most canon. And if there's another horror game you'd like to see explained next, leave it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. From my dark corner of the web to yours, farewell Night Stalkers, into the next nightmare.